Well, I've got a little bit of an unusual request for you all. Don't worry, it's not for money. Uh, there's an interesting article in the recent issue of Science News. A galaxy has clues to reionization. Look at what it says here. I don't know why they believe this happened. I don't know what the evidence is. They don't say. But they say after the Big Bang, some source of high energy light stripped nearly all the hydrogen atoms in the universe of their electrons. This reionization puzzles astronomers who can't account for all the energy needed to make such a sweeping change, some big pulse of energy. Now, this begs some kind of a connection to the worldview, paradigm, and model predictions within the biblical creation science framework or frame of reference. I remember back in early 2000s when they came out with the genetic information analyzed, very reliable statistics that all humans alive today descend from one of 4 gene pools. And I thought and prayed, and it took like a half an hour focused praying and seeking inspiration from God on and using my God-given mind and my science knowledge too to put it together, and I needed his help. What did that mean? Well, it turns out it was evidence, really very strong, almost proof, of Noah's Ark, because on Noah's Ark, the 8 people represented, it's clear when you think of the genetics, 4 gene pools. As the model really predicted that, and the model was already there, so it wasn't really ad hoc after all. But on this issue, about in their time frame, a billion years after the Big Bang was over, what energy pulse actually could have been a radiant energy, some sort of electromagnetic, that could have stripped hydrogens of their 1 electron and left them as free-floating protons once again after the initial explosion. Now, I want you all to think, and I'd love to have a discussion going on down here where we could all talk about it and hear your suggestions to each other. There's also some interesting stuff in the rest of the article, referring really to what's called, they don't call it that, but gravitational lensing, absorption spectra. These are things I'm going to mention in my chemistry and physics class. And then they also throw in, star formation, like star formation and star nurseries are real. We've already discussed how that's a fairy tale, despite the genes condition. And so they still say whether all of this new information is part of the reionization puzzle is unclear. So anyway, I'd love to see a discussion start. If one does not, maybe I'll make some of my own suggestions. But search the scriptures and your knowledge and science references that might put it together, kind of like those gene pools on the Ark did. Well, anyway, God bless, keep thinking, and Merry Christmas coming up, Dr. Jackson. Oh, and students, clear mind from God to you on your thinking during your studying and taking of your midterms. Amen.